Hello everybody, welcome back to another World of Warships Legends video. My first video in 6-7 months, something like that. My last video was to Rodney, I think. And today we're going to be doing Nottingham, because it's still relatively new. I got it last day of the campaign, so I managed to do the challenges. I'd stay up extra late to do them, but I still did them. Did most of them in the last weekend of the update because I took a large break because this game is kind of sucky. Anyways, that's not relevant. Nottingham is a Tier 7 campaign cruiser, and we are going to be taking her out today in the 2 games I'll be showing you in this video. It's a very, very unique ship, Nottingham. I think it's the only heavy cruiser in the game. I'm not counting the French battle cruisers as heavy cruisers because they're really not. I think it's the first heavy cruiser in the game to have an all-forward main armament, which gives it a very homely appearance, shall we say. Although I do like my ugly ships, I think it's endearing in its own weird way. On our first game, we are on the map I forgot the name of. I told you I took a break, I forgot the names of the maps. I always see the maps by their layout rather than their actual name. I can't quite remember what this one's called off the top of my head. But, yeah, we spawned at A here. We've got a destroyer on each team. And we've got an allied battleship. It's one destroyer, one battleship, one cruiser over here on both sides. And Seaton's already pushing in. He's going to take a couple of torps. And I'm frustrating and can't set him on fire. It's actually not something Nottingham's particularly great at, setting fires. Its fires per minute are actually lower than Baltimore's and I think even Piotr Bagration. So it's honestly not the best HE spammer, though we do get a fire there. Nothing about the Nottingham is exceptionally good, shall we say. Apart from the armour, which is probably the second thing everyone notices about the ship other than its appearance, is that the armour's actually very good on Nottingham. I don't know what I'm shooting at there, my aim sucks. Recently I took a break. Don't be too harsh, my aim is pretty bad. Anyway, Nottingham has not very good guns, they haven't got great angles, the reload's 13 seconds by default. You don't have a lot of hit points. Probably because of the armor, because if you gave it 30mm armor, then a high hit point pool for a cruiser, then it'll be kind of busted. But because it has that 30mm armor, it's probably why they gave it actually less hit points than Edinburgh. Sorry, fewer hit points. Fewer hit points than Edinburgh, I do believe. I think Edinburgh's got 100 more or something like that. And also the super heal, which Nottingham doesn't get. But Nottingham does still keep that 30mm armor, and unlike Edinburgh, I think Nottingham actually sits slightly lower in the water than Edinburgh does. Edinburgh sits very, very high in the water. It's just for a light cruiser, it's a very big ship with a lot of superstructure and upper belt. That Nottingham doesn't have. I mean, it does at the back, but if you're bowing like this, you are really difficult to damage by armor piercing, by high explosive. You'll still get penned by more than 6-inch high explosive will damage you pretty badly. But I don't think Nottingham is a bow tanking ship. First of all, that rear turret, it's not rear, it's as rear as you can get anyway. C turret, really bad firing angles. And like I said, if anyone fires high explosive at you, it's really quite bad. So I don't play bow tanking. I'm normally, apart from that scenario where I just smoked up for a moment, I don't really stay still at all in Nottingham. I spend basically the entirety of my time on the move, and you'll see that more in the next game, where I do a lot of kiting, but also in this game as well. Nottingham is, I think, a ship you shouldn't build for, well, just a regular cruiser playstyle, build into DPM and reload and whatnot. I go full agility, which is why I'm using William Tennant, if you haven't already picked up on that, judging by how quick I turn and whatnot. I'm using ingenious, full speed ahead, sponge, steer clear by the book, And my inspirations are Kenichi Mikawa and Ajolain Harbin. My build is on screen right now if you'd like to copy it directly. Now, I think Nottingham is best played with this because Chungmi's firing again for some really weird reason. I don't know why he keeps doing that. I believe Nottingham should be played this way because purely of the 30mm armour. You should just bait people into shooting you and then turn quickly and bounce them. And that's how I play Nottingham personally, is I wait for people to shoot me. I want people to shoot me just so I can bounce them, take fire off the opposition, whatnot. You know, I opened up to the Amagi at 7 kilometers, and you know I've already angled in well enough to negate the majority of damage he deals. I quite like Nottingham actually. I know a few people who don't. But I think you build it this way. My modifications are aiming systems, and I've gone double rudder, and then I think torpedo reload mod instead of main battery, just because you wiggle around so much. And the main battery reload mod impacts your turret traverse, which is something you really badly need when you're doing a lot of maneuvering. So I just generally stick with the torpedo mod, or 60 torpedoes are kind of a selling point on this ship, because this ship is good at two things, I think. It's a very one-dimensional ship. I say that when it's got two things it's good at, but the two things are basically the same, which is going quickly and wiggling around a bit. Going forwards, pushing, and kiting away as well. I don't think Nottingham can do much else. Like I said, low hit point pool, no super heal. I don't think you can actually tank very long when under fire. You don't have radar, so that's not very important. Your sonar isn't great. It doesn't have a huge amount of utility. You take a look at it statistically, it's honestly just kind of average, if not below standard, for most ships. See, I've had a bit of a miscalculation here because that Amagi, as the fires are out, I forgot. I wasn't exactly looking if it was fight fire or not. Either way, survived, so I already turned around preemptively to go towards the Iowa, so I don't want to overextend myself. But luckily for me, the Iowa is either blind or just a bit stupid, or probably both. But he's just going to completely ignore me and allow me to just get right next to him. The Amagi's going to burn out, especially when he's on a double fire, so I just leave him to die. And we have all the time in the world to go after the Iowa. Now this is where Nottingham's probably at its most dangerous, when it's just going all the way up to you like this, and you really can't do anything about it unless you load high explosive, which most battleship players tend not to do. Also armor piercing, not great on a ship, kind of like Albemarle, not very good armor piercing, but armor piercing is still 8-inch armor piercing is still 8-inch armor piercing, and you can get some good DPM on the flat broadside of an Iowa, especially an unsaturated Iowa, using the armor piercing. Of course, we don't have great accuracy because I didn't build into it or anything like that. I'm interested to hear what other people's builds are for this ship, because there's a lot of... I know my GOAT PT Rapids uses a damage reduction build, which is fair enough. I've just gone for the full-on tier 7 Hipper. God, remember him. I've gone for the full-on tier 7 Hipper build. This game's over, by the way. It's the average World of Warships game. It's gone. The 2 torps on the R was enough to kill him. They've just got a Chungmu left. The Chungmu's just going to run away, so I'll take this opportunity to just yap a bit more before we skip to the end. Like I said, Nottingham's a very one-dimensional ship. I don't think just because you have a short burst smoke doesn't mean you should just be spamming it all the time and smoke farming. I don't think, anyway. Like I said, I think Nottingham's biggest advantage to the team is to draw fire away, because people want to shoot at Nottingham because it's just a very juicy target. If you haven't had a look at the armor on Nottingham already, the Citadel is huge and practically unprotected, which is again why you should probably be, in my opinion, using, if not an agile build, at least rudder mod, so you can try and compensate for it. So Nottingham is good, not good damage farmer, but a very threatening ship to be pushed by. If you're getting pushed by Nottingham, the one thing I can say, even if you're on a battleship, is load high explosive and just try and blow its torpedoes off. Because the guns aren't a big threat on Nottingham. They don't have good pen. The DPM is bad. They have the same problem all British heavy cruiser guns have, in that they have very short range. I've only got 15.5 kilometers. That's not very good at all. That's just bad. Let's not have two ways about it. That is just bad. So Nottingham has the gimmick of just being able to push in and bounce and also kite, but your range does kind of hinder that, which is why you have good detectability. That's why I've gone for Mikawa. Now, I could go for concealment mod, but like I said, I want to be shot at, so I don't. No, I'm not. I don't take concealment mod. I'm always an advocate of taking the mods and building the ship in the way to leverage its strengths. And whilst you can't exactly use any commander inspirations to buff the armor, I could build it to try and alleviate its weaknesses by going, I don't know, Charles Madden and using the reload mod to get more DPM, but that's just not what the ship's about. Which is why I've gone better torpedo reload, better rudder, some concealment. That's about it. I just let everything else be and work around it. And working around a ship's weaknesses is, I think, what can define good players from the bad. And not trying to say that you're a bad player if you just try and put your reload onto a ship that has... For example, if you're in a battleship and you've got a bad reload, then yeah, it's building into reload's fine. But in a scenario like this, I just don't think it's worth it. And as I just said, you build a ship for exactly what it should be doing, which in Nottingham's case is pushing and more pushing, which is, I don't think there's any two ways about it. That's what Nottingham can do very well. Building into that is, and then avoiding its weaknesses just by being a half decent player is can what make a good player so adaptable at so many things. Anyway, the game actually ended. The Chengmu just ran away. 118,000 damage, which was my first game in Nottingham, I think this was. Pretty good. I'm just going to jump straight into the next one. I don't have anything else to say I haven't already said. So I'll see you in the next game. Here we are on game 2. This is Neighbours. I remember this map name this time. We've spawned with friendly Iowa and another battleship I forgot the name of. He's not going to stick around very long. He's already running away. I started recording late, so we're just straight into this one. Apologies if I sound weird, by the way. It's because I'm sick. I don't know. Something's been going around locally recently for the last week and a bit. I seem to have got it. So, yeah, it's very... got a lot of coughing issues, and my sinuses are kind of blocked. So that's why I sound funny. Anyway, I'm going to do what I said I shouldn't do here, which is bow tanking. I won't do it for very long, though. It's just for a bit. I won't lose too many hit points doing it. Well, we do have an enemy Kansas, an Iowa, and an Azuma. So that's pretty bad. Nothing that can overmatch me. Only Republic, Musashi, and Georgia are the ships you can see in their ship, of which only Musashi and Republic are in tier 8, so you won't see them that much. And surprisingly, Georgia isn't very popular. I'm not sure why. I set the Kansas on fire. He put the fire out, so I fired a salvo at the Iowa in the meantime. So I'll try and set another fire on the enemy Kansas. So Nottingham is, like I said here, you can tank, but they are chipping away at me. I am losing hit points every salvo, and that's, well, it might just be luck. They might actually be able to aim. Alright, I was already gone to the one line, where he's going to be for the rest of the game. Trust me, he does not want to get remotely close to the enemy. There's the perma-fire on the Kansas. I know I said it's not a very good fire starter. I do set a lot of fires in this game. I'm just going to smoke up because Diar was keeping himself spotted because he just fired, so I can get another salvo into him, and also so I can turn around and run away, because there is no point in me sitting here if the Azuma and the Kansas are going to start flanking around the left and the Eye was going to turn in and push me. Because I will just die, and I'm not going to rush, obviously, because that would be dumb, because I'll be immediately nuked by the Catalunya, who is still hanging around, and he's also come over to this side. So it's a 2-on-4, and so I'm just going to skedaddle full speed, and I'm going to turn out and start kiting. And I think this is where Nottingham may be at its most dangerous, except from the, where if it's 2 kilometers away from you spamming 16 torps at you. Because this is a situation you really, really don't want to be on the receiving end of. If you've got an agile cruiser you cannot overmatch that's just relentlessly throwing everything it has at you, like I'm just going to spam some random torps out here at the Iowa. Really, Azuma's the only problem for me right now, because first of all, his HE can pen my turrets. Nottingham's not got good turret armour. Its turrets are broken by, any kind of high explosive. I think just generally 8-inch and above will do it. You can see there, Iowa, I fishtailed him too hard. All of his shells bounced off. When you have the rudder like this, you can just swing right just enough to get all your turrets round, have another shot. There you go. Double perma-fire. And I can just, turn back around whenever I need to. I know when people are looking at me because I've got the ingenious skill, which I think is a very underrated skill. Because I'm not sure about anyone else. That's a crap shot, by the way. I'm not sure anyone else feels about it, but I'm always a very cautious player in this game. Not necessarily that I refuse to push. I do push, but I'm always paranoid that people are going to shoot me. So having the ingenious skill is just so useful to a playstyle where you want to be shot. Because if I've got 3 enemy ships looking at me right now, I know I'm doing my job correctly. Kansas is having a shot. Even without propulsion mod, I can easily just full slam on the brakes. His shots are just going to go in front of me, and I've turned out. He just misses completely. I will use his damage con. He's on fire again. Because it's likely drill bits just setting him on fire. It's not drill bits, sorry, flammable cannoneer. Literally in the name. I've hit the map border, so it's time to reposition. And in order to reposition here, I'm just going to pop a quick smoke, not to sit in and farm, just to get myself turned around and prepared in an orderly manner. I was dead anyway, at least, so it's just Kansas. And Kansas isn't scary if you know what you're doing. Well, it is. Kansas, it used to be a fairly overpowered ship. I think most people can agree on that. But if Kansas can't overmatch you, it just isn't that scary, because you just get to sit through 36 seconds of the Kansas. You can't do anything for 36 seconds after he shoots. If you're fighting something like a Vanguard or a Monarch or Zeton reloads quick, doesn't it? Or anything that reloads in 20 seconds, just over 20 seconds, then that's just so much more dangerous than that lethargic, fat little ship. I don't mean to be mean to anyone playing Kansas. I played a lot of Kansas. I haven't played Kansas in a long time. I played it. I'd quite liked it before it got its buff a few years ago. I don't even know how many years ago that was. That was it 2021. It was added to the game, so quite a long time ago now. I played it before then, and especially a lot after it's got its buff. I guess I just got burnt out with Kansas a little bit. I mean, pun not intended that I've just double fired him there. I mean, that's just a bit unlucky. I'm going to be forced into a more precarious situation because I'm coming up on the absolutely huge island that's in either corner of the map. I feel like Wargaming should do more maps like this, where the corners of the map are just completely out of bounds. I feel like that would be better to prevent people from literally just camping and kiting all the way to behind spawn, basically. Also, there aren't really any carrier islands in this map, which is beautiful, might I add. There are carrier islands, I mean, but they're quite small. So if Wargaming can have more maps like this with smaller and or no carrier islands, and just these huge cliffs to prevent anyone from going all the way to the top or top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right corner, I think that'll be a big help to the game, because a lot of the maps we have now are just so passive, like shards, where you basically can't establish a crossfire at all. And obviously you got the CV Islands there, but Shards is a really bad map. Scandinavia is... You ever spawned on the left side of the map in Scandinavia, you just can't turn left immediately, which is really weird. So you're all the ships are funneled into the same channel. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. Anyways, that poor old Kansas fired again. Puts it out again. And because the American battleships have that 20-second damage con, I just switched to Yazuma for a salvo. It gives me the high caliber. And I just like to assume nowadays people are running damage con mod. It's not a mod that people use a lot. I tend to use it on American battleships. I use it on Montana and Florida. He's triple fired though, and he doesn't have fire on in the year 2025, nearly 2026. My God, how time flies. My channel's been around for over 5 years now. Good grief. I really am old. You know, I've actually got a grey hair. Yeah, it's just a random fun fact. I've got a grey hair already. I've been playing too much World of Warships. That's a terrible shot as well. You know, I've taken a break. My aiming's bad. Also, Azuma just fed his entire hit point pool to my team, by the way. So, unfortunately, that's any hope of me getting any big numbers, even 200k, which I doubt I would have hit anyway. But that's that gone out the window. And Azuma's going to die before this salvo I just fired is going to hit him, unfortunately. So we're going to end the game on 161,000 damage. The enemy carrier has gone... He's going to go to basically J2 behind that island in the very top right. Unfortunately, we won't get any shots in on him. We're just going to end this game on the damage we are on. So, in the meantime, I'd like to ask what people's thoughts are on this game. Honestly, it's been really weird what they've been doing for the past however many updates. I can't even tell you what the update before Nottingham was, the campaign ship, because it was probably quite boring. I can have a look. I'll probably bring it up right now. But it's been so... They've made so many weird decisions over the past year and a bit. They've put me off the game considerably. You know, Dutch cruisers were a bad addition. Flaming torpedo flammables aren't very good, but again, it's just a weird decision. It's so... I don't know how I describe it. It's like being in school or a workplace or wherever, and one of your colleagues or fellow students just... I don't know how it just changes over time. Like, they go through this really weird phase for a few months. Like, in a few months, they go from this being this really lovable person and just end up being completely different. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm sure you can agree if you've been playing the game for a while. It's having been a day one player myself and having so many hours in this game. Watching it become such just a really weird hodgepodge of fictional ships like this one, and more anime commanders, more boobs, boobs, and now it's got a teenage rating and whatnot. Bewilders me. Anyway, what was the last campaign? Let me have a look. It was tier 8, wasn't it? I feel like I can see it. World of Warships Builds website. By the way, incredibly good website. Highly recommended. I might post by Nottingham Build on there. I just cannot remember. I didn't play the game much before the Nottingham update, and I still didn't play it much during the Nottingham update. Was it Laffy? No, it wasn't Laffy, was it? It was. Was it? No, because Laffy was July, because that's the American update thingy. A little bit of toxicity there from me. Just say nice work when failed to kill that ship that we should be. Oh yeah, I forgot about that thing, the weird French thing. That's one other thing that's been really annoying me. Is just, I'm sure if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I have my thoughts on anime and Azure Lane collabs and whatnot, and the fact that they just make these ships unobjectively better. Like Brest and BA, where is it? Hang on. Utnapishtims, which is a silly name. Is I think Utnapishtims has got 30mm as well, like Nottingham, which is really what they should have just given Brest. Not that Brest is particularly bad. I don't like the French battlecruisers, but I've played Brest a bit, and it's probably the best out of all of them. They should have just given that to Brest, but instead they probably heard people on the Discord. I don't know. I've been banned from the Discord. I was banned a while ago for reasons I will not disclose. But they listen to the community and just ignore them. Well, they don't ignore them because they do make these changes. They hear that, oh, we need to give, you should give Brest a 30mm bow thing. And they just go, yeah, and then make a new premium ship that you have to buy. It's so pissing annoying. Oh, anyway. Game's literally about to end. This Chkalov, another overpowered ship, another terrible addition to the game that I absolutely hate. He just sat behind the islands, couldn't damage him, which is annoying. He could have at the very least fed some damage to me in the Missouri. Anyway, 161,000 damage. Nottingham, second game ever in the ship. Again, early thoughts. It's just we'll get to that in a second. 2.5k base XP. Let's move on to my final thoughts, shall we? Overall, I don't think there's that much to say about Nottingham other than that it's a very unique ship in design and play style, but I think it's one that suits a campaign style quite well. And it's well balanced, I feel. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10-ish. And I honestly wish Wargaming would make more campaign ships like this, because it's just so unique, isn't it? I don't think there's another ship that really plays like this, apart from maybe Edinburgh, but even that doesn't have the torps and the HE. So I can't recommend you get it because there's no way to currently. If it's available for GXP, then yeah, sure, in the future. Doubloons probably not, but overall, good ship, and I think a good experience. Wargaming should make more campaign ships like this. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, which hopefully won't be too long. Toodaloo, au revoir, bye-bye.
Get off the game and take a shower.
No, I'm literally about to hit this clip.
I do not care. It has been 7 months since your last shower. Get off of the game